beautiful, and thank you for clicking on today's video. If you've clicked on this video, you'll know that I posted it before Thanksgiving of 2022. I know that I was supposed to post this before Thanksgiving of 2022, and I didn't due to mental health related things, so here it is now. And I know Thanksgiving hasn't happened yet, but the holidays are right around the corner. And I wanted to get a jump on things that you may want to declutter before the holiday madness sets in. Whether you celebrate Kwanzaa, Christmas, Hanukkah, Yule, whatever it is, it's coming. And these are 5 things that you can get out of your house preemptively before the craziness sets in and before the abundance comes into your life during those gift-giving holidays. Number 1 on this list, if you have children, or in my case, dogs or cats, applies to you, and that is old toys of any kind. Let's start with dogs because that's what I have. If your dog toys or cat toys are old, ratty, not able to be washed anymore, or perhaps in my case, because I had a puppy who's growing every single day, there are some toys that are now considered choking hazards, and it's better to just donate those to little puppies or kitties or other animals in need rather than keep them around the house for my dog to inevitably lose them, choke on them, whatever it may be. What I like to do with most toys, food, treats, whatever that my dog or cat, if you have one, are just not interested anymore, is donate them to a shelter. Animal shelters don't have the same regulations that human shelters do with regards to things like food. So you can donate open bags of food, open bags of treats, so long as they're not expired. As for toys, a lot of shelters take toys, towels, pillows, blankets, things like that. But what I personally do with my dog toys that my dog is no longer interested in is I throw them over the fence to my neighbor's dog who has 3 huskies. Let me show you what I do with dog toys my dog doesn't care about anymore and I don't feel like driving to the shelter. This is my neighbor's house. They will enjoy the toy for about 5 to 10 minutes and then it's gone. And yes, my neighbor does know that I do this. It is a working agreement. Now let's move on to children's toys. Even though I don't have children of my own, I do have friends and family members in my life with young children, and I am aware of sort of the giant house impact that children's toys can sometimes have when they just sort of like take over the house, because you're constantly getting new stuff in for birthdays, holidays, all kinds of special events, or even if your kid goes to a birthday and comes home with a goodie bag. And then it never really gets cold through and it just takes over the house. So I recommend getting rid of some toys before the holidays come so that you have space for the new toys to come in. Number 2, I don't remember where I heard this, but I heard it from some other YouTuber. If I can remember, I'll link their channel down below. But they recommended making the preemptive toy declutter before Christmas like a game. So you can give your kid like maybe 50 cents or $1 for each toy that they bring down out of their room that they don't want anymore, and they're willing to donate to those who are less fortunate, or even just a thrift store for somebody to pick up that they like even better. And I think that if you do it this way, it'll obviously cost you more money if you're doing like $1 a toy and they bring down like 50 toys, but it does help your children, I think, in 3 ways. Number 1 is it helps them not feel like you're the enemy, because you're not going in and like rampaging through their room and decluttering things that you feel like they don't have value for. They get to make a decision if a toy is worth more or less than $1 to them. And I think that sort of mentality, learning how to make those sort of choices at a young age, can help children not grow up thinking that their stuff is like more valuable than like people or time with family or things like that. And number 3, it makes it faster and it makes it more fun. They get to earn income and then spend that income on something cooler right around the holidays when everything's on sale anyway. And I think overall this is like a really good tip to sort of declutter some of those toys before you get more into your home. So that is number 1. Number 2 is cleaning out your pantry / your emergency food supply if you have one. If you're like me, you have an emergency food supply of various different canned foods that maybe yes, maybe no exist in your regular day cooking. However, these things do go expired. So what I like to do is this time of year, a lot of organizations are ramping up like their canned food drives. I know most schools in the United States do some sort of a canned food drive. So what I do is at the end of the year, I go through my pantry and I go through the emergency food supply and I look for stuff that's not expired, but will expire before December of the following year so that it can still be used and it will be used. Because a lot of times these canned food drives, this food is used within like a month or two of it being donated. So it really helps not only cut down on food waste, but it helps people who are less fortunate and maybe can't have that nice, wonderful Thanksgiving or Christmas meal towards the end of the year in the winter months. So I do think this one's kind of a win-win. You can declutter, you can make room, you can help other people. You can also buy canned foods for these type of canned food drives, but I do feel like going through what you already have is kind of like a win-win situation if you're trying to declutter before the Christmas rush or holiday rush. Number 3, very, very similar to the canned food drive, and that is your bathroom. A lot of shelters, specifically women's shelters, take donations that other organizations normally don't deal with. So I'm talking things like cosmetic, personal care products, shampoos, conditioners, not just like far and beyond hygiene, beyond like toothpaste, shampoo, conditioner, but even things like makeup, perfume, hairspray. Women's shelters tend to take these things, even if they're slightly used, depending upon what the type of product is and if it can be sanitized or not. And I think that if you are somebody who maybe gets gifted makeup for the holidays, or even if you're like me and you kind of don't always notice when your makeup is like getting kind of close to expiry and you need to maybe replace it. Now, I'm not saying you should donate a bunch of expired stuff to people who are less fortunate because that is cruel. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you have like a blush that's been kicking around for like a few months and you're kind of like not into it, instead of letting it sit there until it's expired and it can't be used by anybody, why not donate it at this point where somebody maybe with a different skin tone or texture can enjoy it at a shelter? I don't know of any other way to donate cosmetics or used beauty products other than a women's shelter, but if you know of any, you can leave them linked, or not linked, but in the comments down below, you can let us know. Like I said, don't donate things that are like old and crusty and like beyond expired. But if you have things that just didn't work out for you and you missed that return window, I think this is a good time of year to get rid of them and donate them to people who would use them. This also does go for picking up all of those little teeny tiny shampoos and lotions from hotels that you never actually are going to use. Things that are unused can also be really good contributors to these women's shelters. So number 4 is a declutter, but not a donation. So the first part of this video, I focused a lot on things that can be donated to those less fortunate because 'tis the season, 'tis the time of year to do that. However, number 4 is like strictly for your own benefit and decluttering them out of your own house. And that is old medications and old condiments. I don't know what it is about being a human, but for some reason we tend to hold on to things long past expiry in 2 places. And I've observed this in lots of different households of lots of different friends that are like lots of different cultures, okay? So number 1 is condiments, specifically condiments in your fridge. There have been people's houses that I have been into that have had ketchup in their fridge that is like brown because they don't use ketchup, but they have it because they had a barbecue like 4 years ago and it's been expired for 2 years. Go through specifically your fridge, because people think, oh, it's in the fridge, like I must use it. No, shit just sits there in the same way that it does in your pantry, okay? So go through your fridge, go through your condiments, and throw out the stuff that is more than like 6 months expired, okay? Thank you. Number 2 is old medications. Medications, some of them, I am not a doctor, let me preface this with that, but some of them, from what I understand, when they expire, they just become less potent, and it is not dangerous to continue taking them. However, some of them, their molecular structure literally changes to where instead of being the preferred medication at the preferred dose, they change into something that is like genuinely dangerous to put in your body at small or high quantities. with medication, you cannot, from what I understand, you cannot just throw it in the garbage. There are a couple of ways to responsibly get rid of your medication. One of them is to drop it off at a police station. One of them is to drop it off at a local pharmacy. I believe Walgreens takes old medication and they dispose of it responsibly. But getting rid of your old medication and then making a list of things to replace is a really good idea to do now, because likely in December, you're going to be in stores more than you frequently would be shopping for gifts. So why not, while you're at Target shopping for pajamas for your kids, also be picking up Advil and Tylenol, because you're already there. So that is why I like to go through my medication towards the end of the year, and I recommend that you do the same. All right, and right before we get to the last and final one on this list, I just want to say, if you are still watching this video, thank you very, very much. Please leave a like on this video if you're liking it so far, to help the video out and to help my channel out, and leave a comment down below if there's something that you think is good to declutter this time of year that I'm not mentioning. Help us all out, including myself. And with all of that, number 5 is unused holiday decor. And the reason I think you need to be going through it right now is because if you donate unused holiday decor now in like October, November, it is much more likely to actually end up at a thrift store right around this time of season and actually end up getting put on the shelf and then sold, as opposed to if you donate Christmas decor in July, there's a high likelihood that the thrift store cannot hold that inventory for 6 months to make like a $3 profit, so they end up in the landfill. So the best time to get rid of holiday decor is just before the holiday in question. So I know it's a bit early to decorate your house, but if you have the time, even just like on a weekend afternoon, to go down and sort of go through and be like, hey, what did I use last year? I'm probably going to use that stuff again this year. Is there anything that consistently isn't getting put up, and why? And then also, can it be donated now? And that is going to be it for today's video. 5 things to declutter before the holidays hit. Like I said before, if there's anything that I missed, please let us know in the comments down below, not only to help us out to have less cluttered homes come the new year, but also to help this video and my channel out. YouTube right now is prioritizing things like likes and comments to determine if a video has enough value to be pushed out to new audiences. So please do me a favor and do all of that good stuff down below. And with all of that being said, I'll see you in a couple days with another video. Bye!